Hello everyone, I'm Dawn. Thank you so much for visiting with me today. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel, The Cutting Board. We do all kinds of things here. We do true crime content, chit chats, car vlogs, regular vlogs, hauls, product reviews, food content, and most importantly, at least to me, Disney content. And you'll have to forgive me, I am still recovering from this illness. I just can't shake it, but let's just get started. This is going to be kind of like just real casual. So in this video, we're going to discuss the Madeline Soto case a little bit. For those who don't know, I'm going to give you an extremely condensed version of who Madeline is. She was reported missing on February 26, 2024, and a few days later, her body was found in a wooded area about 20 miles from where she lived. She was 13 years old, just celebrated her 13th birthday. I'm giving you a very condensed version of the story, but I will put the links in the description box to other videos I've done on this case, and I also will have an upcoming video where I cover everything up until this point. You can learn more about her just by looking her up on YouTube. There's a lot to cover. There is a wealth of information out there about this case, so please, if you're interested, get yourself informed. So the man charged with killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto, after years of essaying her, claims he has PTSD after finding Madeline deceased. Oh, also, you guys, it seems he's not comfortable in jail. Oh no. Whatever shall we do? Should we have a GoFundMe for him? Maybe get him a more comfortable cot? You know what? I bet it wasn't very comfortable for Madeline having him do all those disgusting things to her body. He's a pig. Ugh. I hate this guy. I hate him. I know we're supposed to say alleged, but, screw it. It's all roads lead to him.
That none of this that was on the phone was a surprise to you.
She was aware that she had certain feelings towards me.
Yeah. Well, then why was she sitting there to sleep with you?
She used to joke about it, call it an electric complex. Used to joke and say, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that. Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle and talk about how nice I looked, and it was not an appropriate situation.
It almost sounds to me, no, not almost, it does sound like, to me, he's blaming Madeline. He's definitely putting blame on Jen, for sure. And I think the majority agrees that she had a hand in this, but he's blaming Madeline. Bringing up the Electra complex,
She used to joke about it, call it an Electra complex. Used to joke and say, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that. Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle. And
so the Electra complex he's speaking of is it's the stage when a young girl feels in competition with her mother for the affections of her father. From a psychological standpoint, it's actually fascinating and quite normal, but it sounds like he's blaming that Electra complex, like he assaulted this little girl for years because of a quite normal phase that she may have been going through. No, that doesn't fly. It goes in hand with Jen's stupid Woody Allen comment, kinda.
He's never said anything to you or anything about it? If anything, I've always told him that my biggest fear is that this would turn into a Woody Allen situation where the stepdaughter or the dad grooms the child and the child then turns 18 and ends up running away with him. I told him, like, that was my biggest fear and I don't ever want that happening. Like, you can't do that to me. Like,
why would you say that to him?
Because I never trusted. I grew up being told never trust a man. My mom put that in my body, never trust a man. And, like, I did not completely 100% trust the man, but in my, like, the logic in my head was saying, you know, he's been in your life for 7 years, nothing's happened, he hasn't shown you anything that he's weird, or that he's done any, or that he's interested in her, or said anything about her body, or talked to her about her in any specific way that, like, creeped me out. He's never said anything like that, or shown me.
I just feel like this little girl, just every adult in her life was a letdown. Except for maybe her mom's husband that she was married to for a very short time. But that Woody Allen remark, it says a lot to me. First of all, near the end, she was taught to never trust a man. Like Jen says, she was taught to never trust a man. But she did. She trusted him for years with her little girl. And in his comments, he said that they would ogle him and make remarks. I'll play that for you again.
Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle and talk about how nice I looked, and it was...
I don't know. It sounds like he's blaming his victim, Madeline, a little girl. He started this on her when she was 8. He's such a coward. He won't take any responsibility whatsoever. None whatsoever.
Always had an issue with boundaries. She never respected any boundaries that I tried to set. You know, we got in arguments on more than one occasion about the sleeping arrangements, so I, would beg her, please make her go sleep in her own room, and she said, well, no, it's easier this way for me to wake her up.
Boundaries. I flat out don't believe him. He thought of Madeline as his girlfriend. He didn't set any boundaries. Where were his boundaries to not violate a little girl? And let's talk about the poem that was found in his cell. I did a video about it, but I'll post it here and read it in case you can't see it for some reason. But you can pause it and read it too. Your hair was like honey, with eyes stormy blue. Gone far too soon, I will always miss you. Your smile was a treasure, your laughter filled the room. This world is not the same, I will always miss you. I loved you so much, I would have died for you. With no end to my tears, I will always miss you. As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. Rest in peace, sweetheart, I will always miss you. Sick. He's sick. Did he think it was okay to assault this child because she was there? It kind of seems like that's what he's saying. Like, well, she was there, so I'm allowed to do it. The police found thousands of videos and images of him assaulting Madeline, doing unthinkable things to her. I don't think anyone was holding a gun to his head. But he wants to cry that his boundaries weren't respected. What a douche. What a douche.
Any privacy, and, just didn't have any space to ourselves, and she would suggest, well, maybe you should go sleep in bed instead. And it's like, it's like a twin bed, and I'm, 6+ feet, and why would I want to do that instead of sleeping in our king-size bed, I should have broken up with her a long time ago and just distanced myself.
He was never going to totally end things with Jen. Not as long as he had access to Madeline. That was never going to happen. He's a predator. He preyed on a mom with a young daughter, and Madeline was easy prey for him. There are men out there that fake entire marriages just to have access to the stepkids. He SA'd Madeline because he wanted to, not because boundaries weren't respected. What about the boundaries of an 8-year-old little girl? Because that's when it started, at least that the police have evidence of. And by the way, there are already boundaries set. They're called laws. It's illegal to SA anyone, and even more illegal to SA children. There's your boundaries, Sterns. There's your boundaries. What an unbelievable bastard.
They are treating you for PTSD because you found the body, not to mention everything else that went along with that.
No, not treating me for anything except my blood pressure.
Well, they need to do the PTSD because you're not sleeping.
Well, you know, it's just, I keep telling myself that I have to maintain my faith. Without faith and trust in God, I have nothing.
PTSD, my ass. He's suffering from I got caught-itis. He's stressed and worried. Sure he is, but because of his actions. He did this. He committed evil acts against Madeline for years. He made a conscious effort to delete all that evidence off of his phone, which didn't help him anyway. He drove to his parents in the middle of the night to hide his computer's hard drive. He disposed of Madeline's belongings and tried to dispose of her body. He told lie after lie in an attempt to cover his tracks. He made up the story about dropping her off at the church near the school. We know the sex crimes took place. We know that. He's not going to get away with that. And I do believe that he'll be found guilty of murder. I do believe that. But there is a slim chance he may not be. I believe that he killed her, though. I believe that. She either threatened to tell, she was getting too old for him. Someone offered him a lot of money for a snuff film. That's out there, but it is a theory. Excuse me, I don't know why my television just became unmuted, but hold on. So I'm sorry about that. Anyway, someone offered him a lot of money for a snuff film. I know that that's a crazy theory, but it is one. She was pregnant. Something happened that flipped his switch.
Checks are going to be difficult to come by. I might need some sort of resources to help me get back on my feet immediately until I can work out the income situation.
Yeah. Don't know what that would be, but because
maybe
we may be gone by the time you get out.
I don't know if there's any way we might be able to set up some sort of trust fund.
I have news for him. On the sexual crimes alone, he's not getting out. But he wants a trust fund. Is he joking right now? Does he really not realize the evidence they have stacked against him? He is either in serious denial, or he is stupid, or both. Or he thinks the prosecution is just stupid. Which I'm sure he does think that. He's one of those people that think that everyone is dumber than him, you know? He's the smartest guy in the room, and I got news for him. He is not.
I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. You know, I wish I had run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all that. And deserved
well, I wish you had too. I wish you had too. Maybe she could have been saved, but
she was beyond that.
Okay.
You know, when someone's that ice cold and just gone.
She was in a different part of the house?
Yeah.
She wasn't with you?
Well, she had gone to be with me earlier in the night, but I left her alone for quite a while I was sort of just walking around and haunting around the house like I do. Sometimes I go out for walks at night, or I'll just sit on the couch and just fiddle around on my phone, or just, I don't sleep well at night, especially when I've got to be up early and do something the next day.
Yeah.
And that was the case. So every time I realized anything was wrong, it was.
She was in a different part of the house when you found that out.
She was still upstairs.
Oh, she was upstairs. Okay.
Yeah, I left her alone there.
He talks about it so, as a matter of factly, like we aren't talking about the death of a very young girl that he victimized for years before killing, allegedly.
The murder charge aside, I mean, you're pretty much on the other side.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to confirm or deny anything one way or the other. I'm trying to hold on to hope as best as I can and see how the cards fall out here. They filed this morning to seek the death penalty.
Yeah.
How are you guys holding up?
Well, we're just waiting for this to play out. So,
Yeah.
So, Debbie, your mother said that you were officially charged with murder. I didn't know about seeking the death penalty. I didn't hear that.
Well, it won't happen for a long time, according to your attorney, if at all. And from what we heard, your judge does not like the death penalty. He thinks it's too lenient, and he would rather have you in jail for the rest of your freaking life.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I'd rather have you on death row because you're in more seclusion and you're not really with the bulk of the population of the people.
Well, I hate to say it, but I'd rather be on death row too because I agree with them. It's a much easier way out.
Gisela.
Yeah, it's a much easier way out there. That's all Stephan Sterns wants, a much easier way. Whatever is easiest. Sounds like his mom knows Gen Pop would be a problem for him. I think it would be the perfect place for him, actually.
Maybe God just delivered her out of a place that was going to become really bad for her.
I mean, I always knew that life was going to be hard for her. Her mom certainly didn't do her any favors, and since I had no say in the matter of how she was raised or disciplined or anything, there was nothing I could do about it but sit back and watch the train wreck as it unfolded.
Are you kidding me? It's because of your son, Debbie. He sexually assaulted Madeline for years, and I'm sorry, but I believe that, yes, he did murder her also. That wasn't God delivering her from a place that was going to be bad for her. The place she was bad for her. That was your demonic son of a bitch son murdering her in cold blood after years of destroying her. Her future was well mapped out because of that sick pig Stephan Sterns. She had a bleak future because of him. Maybe mom wasn't that great. And she absolutely is not innocent, and I'm not letting her off the hook at all. But Stephan Sterns is the monster in this story. Kat, he made her life a bad place. He's a beast, and I would love for him to be put in Gen Pop in the biggest, baddest prison in America. I believe it's in Colorado, and let it be known what he did. But maybe that's just me that wants that.
The only thing that showed any emotion at all was jiggling her leg, but she did that anyway. So
Yeah,
she was anxious because she was lying to her teeth. Why is it in a bracelet?
But it's like I wouldn't waste too much energy having any sort of grudge or hurt feelings against her. She's suffering too in her own way, so
I'm not as much as you are, sweetheart.
Well, she lost her daughter.
Yeah?
Her whole world was turned upside down, too.
His mom is, oh. I'm not going to blame a mom for loving her son. I'm not going to do that. But this woman really needs to come to terms with the fact that her son is the monster he is. He victimized a little girl for years. I mean, the descriptions of those images that were found, he did the most horrendous things to this little girl as early as 8 years old. And I don't know, maybe mom needs to be shown those pictures. Maybe she needs to see them. That's a terrible thing for a mom to have in her head, to have to see. But maybe she needs to see what he did. Maybe she needs to see what he did to this little girl. I have my own issues with Jen. I do. But he was the one who was doing these things to Madeline. Whether Jen knew or not, or allowed it or not, that's a whole other thing from what I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actions he committed against Madeline. His mother is going to have to come to terms with it. She's going to have to see that he did these things to a child. And again, nobody was holding a gun to his head. He did these things because he wanted to. And the evidence for the murder points to him. That's why he's been charged. That's why he's sitting in jail. But, that's all I really have to say on this topic tonight. We will be discussing this a lot more in the near future, as there are 4+ hours of phone calls to go through. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about this a lot more. But thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to everyone later. Bye-bye.